And welcome back to Modern Jubilees. In today's video, let's talk about the Philistines and the Canaanites as they are presented in the Book of Jubilees, because this is very, very interesting. Now, to back up, Jubilees is part of the Apocrypha. It's a holy book. It's part of the holy Bibles of Ethiopian Jews and Ethiopian Christians from the beginning of the canonization of their Bibles. This is a book that purports to be from an angel given to Moses on Mount Sinai, and it was found among the Dead Sea Scrolls, and so we know that it's at least 2,000 years old because we have scraps of it from 2,000 years ago. This book is very holy and very special. There's a lot about it that makes it entirely unique among the ancient texts, and that's why I put it right next to the Bible, right next to the Pentateuch, in terms of how special and how holy this book is. And something that's interesting as we're talking about Islam and Judaism and Christianity, because we're all united in humanity. We might have different religions, but God is one, and so the truth is one. We all come from Adam, we all come from Noah, and the three Abrahamic faiths are spiritual descendants of Abraham. And in Islam, these forefathers of Judaism are considered Muslim prophets and Muslims. So, for example, Moses, the Levite leader of the Israelites, is considered a Muslim because he follows God, and he was a prophet, so they consider him a Muslim. In that case, all Jews are Muslims because all Jews are followers of the one God. And so this becomes important when we are going to now look at the Book of Jubilees, because in the Book of Jubilees, we have a curse against the Philistines and a curse against the Canaanites. And what's going on in the modern world is basically radical Islamists who don't want to see Israel because they don't understand the Torah, they don't understand the Bible, and they don't understand God to a large extent. They're missing a big part of this entire story, the biblical story. And so they think that by associating some of the Muslims living in Israel as Philistines or Canaanites, this gives them some sort of right to the land. But they are not only misunderstanding and completely missing the plot of the entire Bible, especially the Hebrew Bible, the Pentateuch, the books of Moses, the Torah, but they're missing a big part of the narrative of our shared history and civilization and humanity. And within the Book of Jubilees, we see Isaac, who is a prophet in Islam, cursing the Philistines. And we're going to read this curse against the Philistines by the prophet Isaac and the Muslim Isaac, cursing the Philistines. We're going to read that together. And then there is also a curse against the Canaanites, a curse that is very, very ancient and goes back actually to the time of Noah and Noah's children. And this curse is also recorded in the Book of Jubilees. So this video is dedicated just to this topic. It's an important topic. And so I wanted to just look at this for a moment, because again, in Islam, these are Muslim prophets who are now cursing the Philistines and Canaanites. And so for Muslims to come along today and say, oh, look, we're indigenous and we have rights to Israel and etc., it just shows how cut off they are from the source of truth, from God, from the Bible, from reality, from our shared history. And they're trying to create this alternative universe that's very confusing, and people who aren't extremely well rooted inside of the teachings of the Bible are going to be confused, and they are getting very confused. So let's look first at the curse against the Philistines by the prophet Isaac, the son of Abraham, father of Jacob, who is renamed Israel. Isaac is going to curse the Philistines. Let's take a look. All right, here we go. So basically, it's the story that is reflected in Genesis where Isaac makes a pact with the king of the Philistines, Abimelech. He makes a pact with Abimelech, and basically there was all this drama. Isaac goes down because there's a famine, and he goes down and he lives among this Philistine area, but he becomes too great in the land. He's very blessed by God. He plants and he has a lot of produce and a lot of abundance, and they become jealous of him, so they start to stop up all the wells that Abraham had dug. This is very offensive and frankly very dumb for people living in the desert to stop up a whole bunch of wells that Abraham had dug. And so Isaac decides to leave, but Isaac leaves, and then the Philistines come after him and say, no, please, we want to make a pact with you because we don't want to be cursed. They realize that he's blessed. They realize there's something very special about him, and they want to make a pact with him. And so they do, and they call this Be'er Sheva until today. Sheva from the word oath, but also 7. And these are the 7. A Be'er is a well. And so this is the oath that's made. Be'er Sheva reflects this oath that's made between the Philistines and the Israelites. However, after this oath is made, in Jubilees, we get an additional portion of the story where basically the people of Isaac are trying to find another well and they're not able to find it, and they come into this moment of unluckiness. Something very unlucky happens. And Isaac says, here we have it at the top, today I made an oath with the Philistines and now this thing has been announced to us. They didn't find any water. And he realizes, he names this place, the well of the oath, Be'er Sheva, because he had sworn to Abimelech and to his friend Achuzat and to the captain of his army Pichol. But Isaac knew then that he had sworn to make peace with them under duress. Why, after he's kicked out and they block up all the wells that his father had dug, do they now come after him and try to make an oath with him? And he ends up doing it, but afterwards he realizes, I did this under duress, and this wasn't right. Something bad. There's something bad about this. And Isaac, the prophet, the Muslim prophet, the Jewish prophet, the forefather of within Judaism, a very important figure, Isaac, he curses the Philistines. So again, you want to associate with the Philistines, know with what you're associating. Let's read this curse together. That day, Isaac cursed the Philistines and said, Cursed are the Philistines to the day of wrath and rage above all the nations. May God make them a disgrace, a curse, and an object of wrath and rage to the sinful nations and the Kittim. And the Kittim are Japhethites. Whoever escapes the sword of the enemy and the Kittim, may the righteous nation root them out in judgment from under heaven. They will be enemies and haters to my children throughout their generations on earth. No remnant will remain from them. None will be saved on the day of the wrath of judgment. The entire seed of the Philistines is destined for destruction, rooting out, and expulsion from the land. No remnant or name will remain for their seed on earth. Even if he ascends to heaven, he will be brought down from there. Even if he is fortified on earth, he will be torn down from there. Even if he hides himself among the Gentiles, they will root him out from there. Even if he descends into Sheol, like he goes and dies, he will be judged there as well, and he will have no peace. If he is taken into captivity, he will be killed along the way by those that seek his life. No name or remnant will be left of him on earth. He will go to eternal damnation. Such it is written and engraved about him on the heavenly tablets, to do to him on the day of judgment, so that he may be rooted out of the earth. Isaac is not playing games. He's not happy with these Philistines. And as we looked at in another video, the Philistines descend from Mizraim. And we looked at this. This is straight out in the Bible. This is straight out in the texts. The Philistines, they had lived in Kaftor, which is the island of Crete. Before that, they were Mizraimites. They come from Mizraim, son of Ham. They are Hamites. They do not belong in the land of Israel at all. Next, we're going to look at the Canaanites. Canaan was one of the sons of Ham. He was given the plot of Western Africa. But instead of going to Western Africa, he goes to the land of Israel, what we now call Israel. And he settles in that land, which didn't belong to him. It belonged to the children of Shem, and specifically to Arpachshad. All right, now we're at the end of chapter 10 here. Canaan seizes land wrongfully. So they had divided up the earth into portions for Shem, Ham, and Japheth in chapters 8 and 9. This is detailed very clearly. And they all promise, right? Noah creates a lottery so that he can divide the earth because his sons and grandsons are starting to quarrel with one another. They're fighting. They make this lottery, they choose the lot, and they swear an oath in front of a holy judge. They swear an oath that they will all abide by this oath, that they will all respect one another's boundaries and space. But Canaan is the specific son who very early on breaks this oath. And instead of going to West Africa, he goes to the land of Israel. Let's read about it. Canaan seizes land wrongfully. Ham and his sons went to the land that he was appointed by Lot to occupy in the land of the south, meaning Africa. Canaan saw the land of Lebanon to the river of Egypt, meaning the promised land of Israel, that it was very good. He didn't go to the land of his inheritance to the west of the sea. Rather, he settled in the land of Lebanon, eastward and westward from the border of Jordan and from the coast of the sea. So this is the land of Israel, the Holy Land, the Promised Land. It's renamed Palestine by the Romans in 70 CE. That's when it gets that name. His father Ham and his brothers Cush and Mizraim said to him, "You've settled in a land that isn't yours and that wasn't appointed to us by lot. Don't do this, because if you do, you and your sons will fall and be cursed in the land due to your insurrection. By insurrection you settle, and by insurrection your children will fall. You will be rooted out forever. Do not settle in Shem's place. It was given to Shem and his sons as their lot. You are cursed." So who is saying this to him? His father Ham and his brothers Cush and Mizraim are the ones telling him that Canaan is the most cursed of all of the children of Ham. His own father and his own brothers tell him, "You've settled in a land that isn't yours and that wasn't appointed to us by lot. Don't do this, because if you do, you and your sons will fall and be cursed in the land due to your insurrection. By insurrection you settle, by insurrection your children will fall. You will be rooted out forever. Do not settle in Shem's place. It was given to Shem and his sons as their lot. You are cursed, and you will be cursed more than all the sons of Noah, by the curse that we bound ourselves in oath in the presence of the holy judge and in the presence of our father Noah." So Noah is the one who facilitates this oath. And so Noah is the reason that the Canaanites are now cursed forever. And because they also promised to abide by this oath. These are the prophets of Islam. Noah. Noah is a Muslim prophet. And he curses the Canaanites. So you want to say you're Canaanites or Philistines? Go right ahead, but it means you're cursed by your own prophets. Do not settle in Shem's place. It was given to Shem and his sons as their lot. You are cursed, and you will be cursed more than all the sons of Noah by the curse that we bound ourselves in oath in the presence of the holy judge and in the presence of our father Noah. But he didn't listen to them. He stayed in the land of Lebanon from Hamath to the entrance of Egypt, he and his sons, to this day. For that reason, this land is called Canaan, and to this day is the day that the angel is with Moses on Mount Sinai. For this reason, that land is called Canaan. Japheth and his sons went toward the sea and settled in their lots, etc. And so everyone goes and settles their lots. Only Canaan goes to the wrong place and is cursed by his own family. So Noah cursed the Canaanites, Isaac cursed the Philistines, and the people of Israel are blessed, as we see throughout all the ancient texts, and given the land, the holy land, the blessed land, the promised land. Everyone has their place in this world. But the Canaanites and Philistines' place is not the land of Israel, certainly not to rule in that land. The ruling of that land belongs to Israel, child of Arpachshad, child of Shem, child of Noah. There are boundaries in this world, and these boundaries need to be respected, and that's the only way we're going to see peace in this world. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. God bless you all. This is Modern Jubilees, and we'll see you next time.